All right, thanks for joining me today on the MRE Experience. And today we're looking at menu number 1 of a CCAR, which is a Close Combat Assault Ration. Menu number 1, spaghetti with beef and sauce. This is a 2025 production on the 216th day of that year. So this is to replace the First Strike ration. The First Strike ration comes in at 2 pounds, 7.8 ounces, while the CCAR delivers just as much calories but is 2 pounds, 2.1 ounces. 965 grams versus 1129 grams. These are the rations that are first on the ground before there's any logistics for regular rations or field kitchens. So this is a 24-hour menu. You can see how considerably larger they are. This is menu number 8, honey barbecue chicken sandwich with albacore tuna. So this is quite heavier than this, and you can almost see, like, this is almost the whole size of it. You know, like you could put 2 of these in the space where you'd keep one of these. Not weight-wise, but size-wise, they really did break this down into smaller, compact size. So let's put this on the side here, and let's get into our CCAR. I already did videos on number 2 and number 3. This is the last one. There only come 3 variations in a case, and I believe a case holds either 9 or 10. Yeah. So let's get into this. Actually, there's a tear notch right here, and we're going to utilize it. See how it works out. Alright, so first item up, chocolate chip toaster pastry. We have a coconut almond high energy bar. Smoked almonds. We have peanut butter, 1 ounce. Strawberry jam, 1 ounce. Chocolate energy gel. It's funny that these energy gels don't actually have any caffeine. It's mostly sugar, maltodextrin. Cranberries. This looks like a new component. Maple glazed pecan and sea salt nut bar. The infamous chocolate protein drink powder. We have a trail mix recovery with pretzels. We have our accessory pack. We'll get into that. And we have our Sterling Foods bread mini loaf sliced whole wheat. We have our bag. It's funny because the other 2 CCARs I reviewed had clear bags, and I thought they discontinued them, and then look, we have one of these camo bags. And we have a beef teriyaki stick. These are good, I like these. And then we have our main. This is spaghetti with beef and sauce. All right, so that's everything. I'm going to break this up into smaller meals, how I feel they should go. You guys could mix them up the way you feel like it, and we'll start consuming this. This is all I will consume for the next 24 hours, and I'll give you my take on this meal. So let's break out what we have here in our pouch. We have Meg Military Energy Gum, Arctic Mint, 0.44 ounces, 12.5 grams, 5 pieces of gum are in the package, 100 milligrams of caffeine per piece. So there's 500 milligrams of caffeine in this pack. All right, we have 2 moist towelettes. We have, picante seasoning. I like that. And we have 1 toilet paper, which is weird because the other ration I had 2. So I don't understand this. Either way, we're done unbagging this. This is the spread. This is what I will consume for the next 24 hours. I'm going to break it up into smaller meals, and we're going to get right into it. Stand by. All right, we're back. Now, bear with me. I know in the field you might not be mixing these components this way. You'll probably be slamming these down whenever you have a moment. But for presentation purposes and to make this video move along a little faster, we're going to assume you have a moment to eat, and you're going to try to make somewhat of a meal out of a few components. So this is how I'm going to do it. We're going to first have our chocolate almond high energy bar. Wow, that actually smells really nice of coconut. Okay. Smoked almonds. They're always a pleasure. They're pretty good. Nice smoky flavor. We're going to have our, and again in the field you would be sucking this right out of the container, but for you guys in viewing land, we're going to actually put this into a little tray here so you can actually see what this is. And I've had this before. This actually just looks like chocolate syrup with maltodextrin and some vitamins. All right, and it is very thick. That's pretty good. What I should have did was I should have added this into the protein shake. So I'm going to save the peanut butter and jelly for something else. The jelly actually is going on another item, and we're going to put the peanut butter right in our protein shake. And we're not actually going to fill that up all the way because I want to have a chance to knead that peanut butter in. If you haven't already added peanut butter to your protein shakes, I would really recommend you trying it. It really does kick it up a notch. But you do have to knead it in because you will get clumps. Unless you're using warm water or hot, you really do have to knead it in. All right. And you know what? I really wish, whatever, let's do it. I'm going to pour this right in there because I already had this, and this basically just tastes like chocolate syrup. I wish I didn't pour it into this container so it didn't actually coat it and we lose a lot of it. But you know what? And we don't even get a spoon because you're supposed to be eating everything out of the pouches on the go, like finger food. This is on the go food. They assume you're going to be driving, fighting, whatever, and you're not even going to have time to use a mess kit. So, but here in YouTube land, we do things a little different. And that stuff is thick. All right, let's knead that in again and give it a good shake. All right, let's check our fill line here. and see where we're at, because I really was just trying to make sure we had enough water just to need it. I didn't want to overfill. All right, there we go. All right, let's see how our concoction came out here. And we got everything. All right, and as for the energy gum, I'm not going to open it up because there's enough sugar here. I don't need extra caffeine to make me bounce off the walls. Let's open up our one roll of TP here, and let's see what our first impressions are here. All right, let's give this a little mix up here. Rather thick. That mocha energy gel really darkened this up. I'm not used to seeing these protein shakes so dark, but that actually looks pretty good. And that peanut butter really adds a nice flavor. Here we go, let's try this out. That's really good with the peanut butter and the mocha. That really makes it pop. The almonds are good. They're not dry. They have a nice coating of it's like a salty, sweet barbecue flavor. Let's look at this energy bar. A little crumbly. It's like it's compacted into a bar. Some dry media in there. See how it kind of breaks up? It doesn't really, not malleable at all. I see some nuts in there. Let's give that a try. That has a really pleasant coconut flavor to it. It's not overwhelming. It kind of hits you through your nose. You smell it. You eat it. You get like an essence of coconut. Probably some good coconut oils in here. It's not thirst provoking. This is a hit right here. These go actually really well with the almonds. This is actually really, really good. If I could find this on the consumer market, I would buy this, because this doesn't really taste like a protein bar. It tastes like, you know, like a coconut, like just exactly what it's called, a coconut almond energy bar. This is really good. It's easy to chew. It breaks up nicely. It almost has like a fudge consistency. It's really smooth as you eat it. I guess all the coconut oils, there's like 4 different kind of coconut oils in this. And that is really interesting. I like that a lot. And it pairs up really nicely with the almonds, considering there's almonds already in that. Our peanut butter, chocolate, mocha energy protein shake. I'm going to work on this off camera. I don't think there's anything else much to say here. The mocha energy gel, pretty good. I mean, I wish there was caffeine in it other than what we have here as our caffeine replacement. Not bad. Smoked almonds with the barbecue, there was a hit. This was absolutely fantastic. I'm definitely going to finish that up. Coconut almond high energy bar. And then our typical protein shake, which we combined our mocha energy gel And then we added our peanut butter in to boost up the protein. That's a hit. If you haven't tried that already, add your peanut butter in. If you get the mocha gel in there, throw that in. That is the way to do that. All right, so I'm going to finish this up off camera, and I will see you in a couple hours when it's time for the next snack. Stand by. All right, we're back. This is the second meal for our menu number 1 CCAR, Close Combat Assault Ration, spaghetti with beef and sauce. Now, I didn't see the point of breaking this up into 3 meals. If I did, we would be having the cranberries right now with the toaster pastries with the jam and the trail mix recovery with pretzels. And then our last meal would be the maple glazed pecan and sea salt nut bar, the beef teriyaki stick, the spaghetti with beef and sauce, and the Sterling Foods mini bread loaf whole wheat sliced. So what we're going to do is we're just going to plate this all up, and maybe I'm going to save warming this up till the end with the bread loaf and the beef teriyaki sticks. But we're going to keep it as one meal just so we push through this video, because it gets a little mundane just eating these sides, cranberries, toaster pastry, trail mix with recovery pretzels. So let's unbag this stuff and let's see what we got going on here. 2-ounce container. They look pretty good, nice and glazed. Let's see what our beef teriyaki stick looks like. And it is our typical double packaged. And it is, let's see if there's a manufacturer. Godsheld's Quality Meats, Lebanon, PA. Pretty good. And like usual, these are often hard to open, so we're just going to slice it. And that does smell smoky, and it does smell good. We're going to save our spaghetti with meat sauce, our mini bread loaf, and what else? I think that's pretty much it. Let's cut open our toaster pastry. And these are always a favorite. This one seems to have gotten a little compacted, but we'll get it open. Nice. Yeah, and that's definitely stuck on there a little bit. We're going to put strawberry jam on that. We got our trail mix recovery with pretzels. Looks like we got a mixture of peanuts, almonds, pretzels, and some cashews. They're not salted. Nothing is salted. Let's see if the pretzels are salted. Nope. This is the new component, maple glazed pecan and sea salt nut bar. 200 calories, serving as 1 bar, 40 grams, 1.41 ounces. Let's see, total fat 17 grams. Where's the carbs? 14 grams of carbs. These new components are really interesting. I like the way they're going with them. And look at that. It's not a new component. It's a repackaged kind bar. That's interesting. And it looks like it was taped over. That's pretty interesting. So let's just open that up. Kind of disappointing when you see a new component and it's just a repackaged civilian food item. But whatever. I guess that's how the government rolls sometimes, right? We got our picante seasoning. Let's throw some jam. I didn't really have any time to knead this up, so let's just see how it comes out. Okay, and it looks like regular store-bought jelly. And it's pretty tasty. All right, that's pretty much everything. Let's start digging into some of this stuff and give you my take on it, and then we'll warm these items up and we'll enjoy them. It's a typical Pop-Tart pastry that's been completely smushed because it's been vacuum packed. Something about when they get compacted, I don't know, they kind of taste a little better, I think. That actually goes really well with the strawberry jelly. What else you would put the strawberry jelly on other than the Kind Bar, I'm really not sure, but that goes pretty well. I think we've all seen these before. They're kind of like a no-frill trail mix. The almonds are well roasted. They're a little bit on the raw side, which makes them a little more softer. The cashews are also a little bit on the softer side. They're not really heavily roasted. The pretzels are nice. It's a shame that there's really not any salt on them because it seems like it's lacking something. And the peanuts aren't bad either. Mildly roasted. Brings out a little more of the flavor. They're not bitter. That's a good mix, but it is a little thirst-provoking. These cranberries really look good with their, I guess it's corn or sunflower oil glistening on them. They do have a nice taste to them. They're not sour, a little bit on the sweet side, and they got a good chew to them. They really do. Let's look at this beef teriyaki stick. It's nice and firm. Has a nice, almost pepperoni style smell to it. It has definitely a nice smoky hint to it. It has a good chew. It's not overly firm. And it has definitely a nice smoky flavor to it. These I like. These are a good snack. Definitely a nice protein boost. And it has definitely a good flavor. It's a little bit on the sweet side, considering it is teriyaki. And it is very welcome. I like these. These are a nice snack. Pardon me, but I went and got a proper dose of caffeine. I think while I understand it, the caffeine gum has a place, but it doesn't substitute a cup of coffee. Coffee is a morale booster. It warms you up. It's soothing. And you don't get that from a piece of gum. So, my opinion, bring back the coffee. Maybe these newer troops just don't like this coffee. And this is Taster's Choice or Bill's Brew, whichever you prefer. But bring back the coffee. I think you're going to realize that you made a mistake. And you could leave the Arctic Ice Meg Energy Gum in the CCARs. But throw some coffee in there. Sometimes, a nice cup of warm coffee really does the job. Okay, so I'm a big fan of these meat sticks. I really do like them. While it's not premium, grade A, consumer beef jerky, It has a good taste, has a good chew. It does what it's supposed to do. Gives you a nice boost of protein. It has good flavor. I like those. This I'm kind of disappointed. You already got almonds here. You already got peanuts here. Like, you could have thrown something else in there except this and made a difference. I don't get this. This has also walnuts in it, which this doesn't. But really, I mean, this is supposed to be a new cutting edge meal for our soldiers, and I get disappointed when I just see a repackaged consumer product. And while you could say the same about the Pop-Tart, I don't know. The Pop-Tart I like. It serves a purpose. But this, I don't get it. It's kind of redundant. But let's give it a try. Good flavor. It's got a nice chew to it. It's not too hard. The oats or cereal that's mixed in with it definitely gives it a nice crunch. It's not too sweet. It does have a little salty taste to it. So it's a little balance of sweet and salty. But I'm just not a big fan of these kind bars. And it's kind of disappointing when you open up a cutting new ration and you just see a repackaged consumer product. Oh well. It is what it is. This is the last menu in the lineup. I already did 3, 2, and this last one is menu 1. So we're wrapping up the CCAR playlist. I hope you check out the other videos. They're good. Some good old-fashioned coffee. Delicious Pop-Tart. These aren't that bad. Don't get me wrong, but do you see what I'm saying with the redundancy in the menu? Now we got components that are overlapping, and okay, if you weren't eating it in, if you weren't eating them both together at the same time, you throw this in your pocket, eat it as you can, and then later eat this again. But it seems like you're eating the same thing over again. Who wants to eat the same thing over and over again? So I don't get this. This is kind of like a fail right here. And then you factor in you're having cranberries, which this is already kind of sweet. So you're getting a nutty, bready, sweet taste. The only thing this brings to the table, it's just a hint of saltiness to it. That's the only difference. It's basically the same thing. This is more sweet. This is more salty. But don't get me wrong, this is still sweet. So I really don't distinguish the difference here. All right, well, I'm not really feeling this. This is just, I feel, as a filler right here. And I'm going to save my appetite for this. So I'll be back in about an hour or so. I'm going to work on these to get them down. And we will come back and we will film the last part. So stand by. All right, we're back to our last leg of our last meal on the review of a 2025 CCAR menu number 1, spaghetti with beef and sauce. It's a little tongue twister right there. All right, so the spaghetti and beef with sauce is a 227 gram pouch, which is 8 ounces, 380 calories. We've got 27 grams of carb, 15 grams of protein. So I'm going to substitute Tabasco because while the picante sauce is good, I like a little more heat. So let's open the bread up. This is a wheat snack bread by Sterling Foods. And I brought a spoon because this doesn't come with a spoon. It's funny that they give you a meal that is in a pouch that you're supposed to suck through, because there are no tear notches on this pouch other than at the tip, but yet they give you a little seasoning pouch. So I don't understand how they expect you to season the food as you're sucking it out of a pouch. If anyone knows, please let me know. That is something that I kind of find unique. They don't give you a spoon. They don't give you an FRH, which they could easily have thrown an FRH in here, so you could actually warm this up. You could easily tear the pouch open from the side, add your seasoning, and I don't know, eat it with a spoon. But they don't give you a spoon, but they do give you seasoning. I guess that's the military for you, right? They don't have to make sense on why they do it. You just have to accept it. All right, so this is typical MRE spaghetti. There's nothing fancy about it, although it does seem like the meat is a little more thinner. I had the regular spaghetti with beef and sauce from a similar year menu, and the beef chunks were much more pronounced. It was almost like crumbled beef, and this is much more uniform and smaller. And that's good. Typical spaghetti. Let's have some bread. That's not bad. That is pretty good. What would have really made this pop is if they would have included some cheese spread. I don't know. It wouldn't have took too much room up. It wouldn't have inflated the calories to an overabundance. And it would really made this spaghetti go nicely with that bread. Stand by. I know I had a cheese spread component from another menu laying around, as sometimes we do when we are neck deep in MREs. We save components. And I saved this cheese spread just for an occasion like this. So we're going to enjoy it. Now, this is the way I want to do it. And I already gave you my take on this bread. And now we're going to enjoy it. So, I'm not sure if you guys agree with me doing this, but we're going to spice up this bread. And this is just regular cheese spread. This isn't anything special. It's not jalapeno. And it is exceptionally cold because I kept this in my stockpile that's in my basement. So this cheese is very thick. All right, let's see if we can get all of that out. All right, yeah, there we go. So let's enjoy it now. That's the way to do it. So what do you think about these three menus? I personally think they should have expanded more. Now, most likely they will expand the menus more. I really hope so, because when the first strike rations came out, I believe there was only maybe five or six menus, and over time they kind of expanded it because 3 menus gets really old, especially when they're just, I think, one is spaghetti, one is tuna, and I forgot what the other one is. And beef stew, I believe it is. And those 3 menus really don't offer a broad range of diversity. The spaghetti is good. I think it loses some of its texture by crumbling up the meat so small so you can get it through that pouch, that little spout on the top of that pouch, because I literally had this menu from a regular MRE, and I'm telling you, the beef that was in it literally looked like seasoned, crumbled ground beef. Had a good texture. This is almost on the borderline of just like mush. You can't tell where the noodles begin, the sauce begins, and then the beef starts. Everything has the same exact texture. Once it hits your mouth, it's all smooth. It's not, there's no contrasting textures to identify that's a noodle, that's sauce, that's beef. So that's kind of disappointing. I understand why they might have done it. You know, if it's too chunky, then you could have issues in getting stuck in the pouch, because that pouch is rather narrow. It's not really a wide mouth pouch. So I get it, but you're losing so much texture and definition of the food. And really, this menu should have came with cheese for that bread. Italian breadsticks with the cheese, that would have been a home run. Okay, well, that was pretty decent. This is the finale of the 3rd ration in the series of CCAR menus. Menu number 1, spaghetti with beef and sauce. If you stuck around to this point, I want to say thank you. I want to thank all my subscribers and everyone who has been following my content. Let me know what you think about this menu. I personally think ditching the first strike ration is a mistake. With how many components, how many menus they have, how versatile they are. Of course, there are some components in those first strike that are not really good. But then again, they do have some components that are big hits. I don't see how this 3-menu CCAR, just based on the weight savings and the size savings, can justify throwing out such a developed menu lineup. You could easily have incorporated some of that new technology into the CCAR menus to lighten them, make them smaller, pack them smaller, reduce some components that kind of overlap, kind of like we had here. We had the kind bar, that kind of overlap the same flavors as the cranberries and trail mix. So I don't know. I see some redundancy in the CCARs, that I don't see a versatile menu lineup, and abandoning a 9 menu first strike lineup, especially when there's no coffee, and then you just supplement gum and some high sugar, high maltodextrin energy gels. I know soldiers run on sugar and carbs, but coffee and caffeine and drinks do matter. So thanks for sticking around. Like and subscribe. Let me know what you think of the content. Let me know what you want to see next. And I'll see you on the next one. Take care.